Hello everybody. So continuing with our series where we are trying to understand the root causes of diseases. Let's try and understand another disease today. The disease that we're going to be talking about is cancer. So let's try and understand. Actually, this is a general term given for more than 100 diseases that are characterized by abnormal and uncontrolled cell divisions or cell growth in the body, and that may spread to other parts of the body through our lymphatic system or bloodstream. The part of the body affected by cancer, if we try and see the part of the body that is affected, that can give us a clue as to the psychological implications that we're trying to understand. Do certain personality traits or a history of adverse childhood experiences or a particular way of coping up with stress make a person more likely to get cancer and to die or die from it? Or do other personality or coping up patterns protect people from getting cancer? So we have a group of people who might get cancer and who might not. Or, so these help them to survive. We know that personality affects both lifestyle and habits, which we have seen in our previous sessions also, which may lower or raise the risk for getting cancer. So we've seen that for a lot of other diseases. Similarly, cancer. So let's try and understand what emotional block could be the reason for cancer. So cancer apparently is a result of significant emotional wounding that one experienced, maybe isolation during childhood. The most common emotional wounds that can manifest as a serious physical disease are rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice. Some people have endured a number or combination of these wounds. So a lot of people experience, combination of these experiences. If one suffers from cancer, the person is probably a loving person who wants to live in a loving world. We all want to do. So much so that, we completely repress our feelings of bitterness, resentment, and even hatred towards one of our parents. We may even blame God for whatever we went through, maybe during childhood, and still blame God for the state of our life. Now, all this is done subconsciously. Suppressed feelings are not even acknowledged, let alone dealt with or released. So they are left to accumulate and gather in the body to grow. Every time something awakens the same feelings, the same emotional wound. Once the emotional critical mass has been reached, so once there is so much of accumulation of the pent-up emotion, cancer will surface. So this is about the emotions. Let's try and understand the mental block. So we need to forgive ourselves for having vengeful thought towards one or maybe both of our parents. We are all human and we are allowed to suffer. Forgive and so love. Understand the inner child in you and love the child, who silently had to endure all this and could not confide. Forgiveness is one of the greatest healer. The only thing that our soul needs is love and forgiveness. Visualize if all the emotional baggage in one bag that we have carried all our life or all your life. It's time to simply put the bag down. That is what forgiveness helps us to do. We just think that we need to carry it on, but we need to put it down. There is no longer need to punish ourselves or feel guilty for these thoughts. We must stop thinking that we are unkind if we hate somebody, or if we are unkind, we are not human. So we need to accept ourselves. Self-forgiveness is one of the greatest challenges that we face as people, and even people who have cancer, who are diagnosed with cancer. Let's try and understand what could be the spiritual reason. Much of the attention goes these days to cancer because it actually plagues people to epidemic proportions. So there are a lot of people being diagnosed with cancer. So analogy in the spiritual realm is in order. Just as cancer destroyed many physical bodies, unforgiveness is destroying many souls. Isn't this a beautiful analogy? And forgiveness is to soul what cancer is to physical body. Just as some forms of cancer start from one, we could say one bad cell and grows rapidly, so does unforgiveness. It eats away at our spirit until, we are spiritually dead. We really don't acknowledge a lot of things. Unforgiveness is selfishly holding on to our point of view. It could be always looking for someone else to admit that they are wrong. We are trying to point fingers that somebody else is wrong. By harboring unforgiveness and resentments, we are actually hurting ourselves. We become kind of slave to the situation, causing us to cling to our unforgiveness. In this situation, we continuously cling to that view of unforgiveness, and that causes us to become slave to our emotions. So here, I would also like to talk about Louise Hay, from whom these articles have been inspired, who says she treated her cancer with forgiveness. So when we forgive others for the wrongs we feel, that does not mean that the wrongs will always be corrected right away. But the important thing is the condition of our own heart, what forgiveness does to us, our heart, not whether we can fix other people. So forgiveness is not about fixing our people. God knows our heart well, and the hearts of those whom we need to forgive. So sometimes it doesn't matter, when we start to do forgiveness, it doesn't matter if we don't see an answer right away. Let's just trust God. At least start with the idea of letting go and trying to forgive people and forgiving ourselves and accepting ourselves for all the mistakes, or even stop being the victim and accepting ourselves and loving ourselves the way we are. That will start the process of healing. So as I was talking about Louise Hay, she was detected with cancer, and that's when she started to do affirmations, and she started to release all the traumatic experiences she experienced during childhood, all the anger that she had towards her parents for the traumatic experiences that she had. When she started to release them, the body started to heal, and she was able to reverse her condition of cancer and even heart issue. I'm thankful to the articles of Liz Bourbeau and Louise Hay, the affirmations and the talks by Louise Hay, who actually give us deep insights into what makes diseases tick in our body and what we could do. It is in our hand. In fact, we created the disease in the body through our thoughts, unknowingly, probably most of the time, but sometimes knowingly as well. But similarly, if we start to change our thought patterns, if we start to, as Louise Hay says, it's only a thought, and a thought can be changed. If we start to work on our thoughts, we'll be able to deal with our emotions and release those which are not required by us. We'll be able to put down the baggage of emotions of past which are not doing us any good. And that will lead to the path of self-recovery, because we have seen there are a lot of people who've come out of this disease, this illness. So do share your insights on this talk, and thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, it can really, if we think about it, a lot of diseases have their root causes in the feeling of unforgiveness or holding on to grudges. We can start to release them right away, and release a lot of disease that are there in our body. Thank you so much for joining in today. Namaste. Have a good day. Entrance. Cave. Going down.
Okay, got it. Or each of them more than one.
So that if the enemies come in, they can kill them one by one. Really have to bend down and go. So this is the rock that is used to close this door. This is the underground city of Cappadocia. Again, a narrow entrance, really narrow. Again, a narrow. It's really long.